Sometimes life throws you a curveball so wild, you can't believe it's real until you're standing in the wreckage, wondering how it all went so wrong or so right. Picture this. I'm pouring my morning coffee, the kind that smells like home, when I hear chainsaws screaming outside my window at 5 a.m. I look out, and there's Linda Carver, our HOA's self-crowned dictator, in a crisp navy blazer, swinging a chainsaw through my soybean field like she's auditioning for a horror flick. That field wasn't just crops, it was my family's blood and sweat, my daughter's college fund, my late wife's dream. And Linda? She's grinning, filming the whole thing on her phone like it's her personal reality show. My name's Tom Brennan, and I've been farming these 800 acres in eastern Kansas since my granddad staked the claim back in '29. This land's been in our family through floods, droughts, and the Great Depression. It's not just dirt, it's who we are. After my wife, Ellie, passed from leukemia 3 years ago, this farm became my anchor. The way the sunrise hits the wheat, the sound of sprinklers ticking like a heartbeat, the feel of soil crumbling in my hands, it's what kept me going for my kids. Lily, who's off studying AG science, and Nate, who's 17 and can fix a tractor blindfolded. But then Linda and her fancy sunset pines, HOA rolled into town, and everything I'd built started to burn. It started small, sneaky, like a snake in the grass. 2 years back, these luxury villas started popping up along our county line, big, boxy houses for city folks escaping their own messes. Most of them kept to themselves, which was fine by me. But Linda? She was different. 55, fresh off a divorce that left her with a fat bank account and a chip on her shoulder, she drove a sleek black SUV and wore outfits that screamed, "I'm better than you." Within months, she'd clawed her way to HOA president, promising to civilize our little corner of Kansas. Her first move? A certified letter claiming my farm's manure stench was a public health crisis. I called her up, trying to keep cool. "Linda, this is farmland. Always has been. You moved here." Her voice came back like ice wrapped in silk. "Tom, we're building a refined community here. Your little farm doesn't fit our vision." That vision was code for turning my land into more villas to pad her investors' pockets. See, I found out later Linda was drowning in debt from her old life in Seattle creditors circling, her divorce settlement shrinking fast. My farm was her golden ticket, and she wasn't asking nicely. The kicker? A paperwork screw-up from years back had accidentally lumped my land into the HOA's boundaries. One signature my dad didn't read closely enough, and now I was caught in Linda's web. She came at me hard. Compliance inspections at dawn, her strutting around with a clipboard and a photographer like she was running a military base. She'd measure my wheat stock suite, for God's sake claiming they were too tall for her neighbor's views. One night, I caught her husband, Greg, sneaking through my fields with a GPS unit, muttering about zoning adjustments. Our old mutt, Scout, started barking at their SUV like it was the devil himself, and the local kids turned it into a game, timing how fast Scout could spot Linda's car. That dog became our early warning system, more reliable than a weather app. But it wasn't funny for long. One morning, I woke to find my irrigation pipes slashed, water gushing everywhere, $10,000 in damage. My security cameras caught a figure in a jacket just like Greg's, and when I confronted Linda, she just smirked. "Maybe you should grow shorter crops, Tom." That's when I knew this wasn't just about her ego, it was a war to force me out. Her plan was to bankrupt me with fines, wreck my harvest, and make me sell cheap to her developer buddies. I was staring at losing everything my family had built, everything Ellie and I had dreamed of passing to our kids. I'm no lawyer, but I'm no quitter either. I started digging. My buddy Mike, a small-town attorney, tipped me off about Kansas's right to farm law's ironclad protection for folks like me who were here first. Ellie had been a whiz at research before she got sick, and I found her old notes in the basement, stuffed in a box labeled land law. God, I could still smell her lavender perfume on those pages. She'd written about cases where HOAs tried to bully farmers, and one line jumped out. Check original incorporation docs. That was my first break. Turns out, the HOA's original filing from 18 had my land marked as an agricultural exclusion zone untouchable. But Linda's version? My farm was magically included, with her signature on doctor papers. Different ink, different handwriting, obvious fraud. I call Mike at 6 a.m., voice shaking. "This is felony stuff, Tom," he said. "If she mailed those fakes to the county, that's federal mail fraud. We're talking prison." My heart was pounding, not just from anger, but from hope. For the first time, I had a weapon. The community started rallying. The Wilsons, who run the feed store, spread the word. A Facebook group, Save Brennan Farm, blew up with 300 members in days. People shared stories about Linda's bullying finding old Mrs. Carter for her garden, threatening the Miller's dairy over cow noise. Even some villa folks turned on her, fed up with her power trips. Scout, bless him, became a local legend when a video of him chasing Linda's photographer into a ditch went viral. The kids made a Scout Alert app, and that mutt's barking hit 97% accuracy for spotting her SUV. But Linda wasn't done. She pushed for an emergency HOA rule to ban all farm equipment tractors, combines, everything right before harvest. Without my gear, $300,000 in crops would rot. At the town meeting, she stood there in her designer heels, preaching about community standards, while her cronies nodded like trained dogs. I stood up, heart hammering. "Linda, federal law protects farm equipment noise. You can't do this." She shot back. "Maybe whisper to your wheat, Tom." The room gasped, but her loyalists pushed the vote through. That's when Mrs. Wilson, who's been running the diner forever, dropped a bombshell. She'd gotten a tip from a private investigator Linda owed $1.8 million to creditors back west. This whole fight was her desperate bid to flip my land for a developer's kickback to save her own skin. The room went dead quiet, and 2 of her board members bailed on the vote. Her equipment ban crashed and burned. I thought I'd won, but Linda went nuclear. One night, my security alarm blared at 3 a.m. Flames were eating my equipment shed backup records, my granddad's old tools gone. The fire chief found gasoline and professional accelerants. My cameras caught Linda's SUV dropping off a guy with gas cans. Arson. Attempted evidence destruction. Sheriff Dan rolled up, face grim. "Tom, this is federal-level stuff now." The FBI got involved, and it turned out Linda's scheme wasn't just local. She was tied to land frauds in 9 states, a whole network of developers preying on farmers. She kept swinging, though, tried bribing the county prosecutor with $40,000 to lose my evidence. He was wearing a wire. Then she got a crooked inspector to condemn my farmhouse as a health hazard the day before the big town meeting. But every move she made just dug her hole deeper. The community had my back. Volunteers fixed my irrigation. The Wilsons' diner fed my family, and a GoFundMe hit $30,000. Scout's viral fame raised another $20,000 for legal fees. My fight wasn't just mine, Anna Maria, it was a symbol. The real game changer was in Ellie's notes. My granddad's 1929 water rights to Cottonwood Creek gave me control over every drop feeding Linda's Villa's pools, sprinklers, the works. My new lawyer, Rachel, laid it out. "Tom, you can shut their water off tomorrow. Legally, they've got nothing." I sat there, staring at the stars over my wheat, feeling like I'd just drawn an ace in a poker game I didn't know I was playing. Monday night's town meeting was like a courtroom scene from a movie. The place was packed, farmers, locals, even news crews from Topeka. Linda waltzed in, all smug in her red blazer, with some hotshot lawyer from Chicago. Mike stood up, calm as a summer morning, and laid out the fake HOA papers side by side with the originals. Gasps rippled through the crowd. "These are felonies," he said. Linda forged government records to steal Tom's land. Her lawyer tried to object, but the prosecutor stood up. "She offered me a bribe to bury this. She's under federal investigation." Linda lost it, jumped up, screaming, "You farmers are ruining progress with your dirty fields." The judge wasn't having it. "Mrs. Carver, the HOA's dissolved. All actions against Mr. Brennan are void." Then the FBI agent stood up, "Cool as you please. Linda Carver, you're under arrest for fraud, bribery, and racketeering." They cuffed her right there, her yelling about property values as they hauled her out. The crowd roared 4 minutes of applause, like we'd just won the Super Bowl. The next morning, I walked to my granddad's old dam, turned the wheel, and let Cottonwood Creek loose. 10 million gallons roared through, turning Linda's villa site into a muddy swamp. A $3 million excavator sank like it was in quicksand, and the developers bailed faster than rats off a sinking ship. Herons showed up within days, then beavers we hadn't seen in decades. That land's now a wildlife refuge, blooming with wildflowers where her concrete dreams drowned. 6 months later, our Brennan Farm Festival drew 6,000 folks. The diner sold so much pie, they bought new ovens. We started the Ellie Brennan Scholarship for AG students, funded by Scouts merch and a documentary deal. Linda got 12 years in federal prison and $3 million in fines. Her villa? I bought it at auction for $40,000, tore it down, and planted sunflowers that bloom every summer like a big OL screw you to her plans. My kids are thriving lilies fighting for farmers' rights. Nate's adding solar to the farm. I married Mrs. Wilson last fall, right in the wheat field, with Scout carrying the rings. That dog's got 400,000 followers now, more famous than most influencers. Our case changed laws. Kansas passed stronger farm protections, and Congress is talking a farmer's bill of rights. My land's safe forever, locked in a conservation easement. Looking back, I learned bullies like Linda count on folks staying quiet, but when a community stands together, you can't break us. Every sunrise, when I smell that coffee and hear the sprinklers, I know Ellie's smiling down, proud we kept her dream alive. So, what would you do if someone tried to steamroll your life's work? Drop your story below. HOA nightmares, land fights, whatever. Your fight might inspire someone else to stand tall. Hit subscribe for more stories where regular folks take down giants. And ring that bell next week. We're diving into how a librarian stopped a mall from bulldozing a historic orchard. You don't want to miss it.